Hey, what's up, everyone? Thanks for checking out the video. This is Southside Braves here, and today for you, I got the Week 3 preview for the Rocket Draft League. I wanted to say thank you to everyone that shows excitement and enjoys these videos a lot. Makes it a lot more fun to do them and record them. So I plan to continue to do them again throughout the entire season. So that being said, let's jump into Week 3. So first off, we are going to go through the matches of Week 2. First one we had was the Argonines versus the Hondros. Unfortunately, after this game, we no longer have the Argonines in the league. They have been turned into the Ammonites of the Round Table. Awesome team name and logo, by the way. But looking at the game that happened in Week 2, the play of the game you see on the screen right now is I really thought this future sight that he had with the Slowbro coming from the Hondros, the Slowbro from the Hondros. This future sight, I think both players probably kind of forgot about in this series of events, actually comes in clutch and picks up a KO for him. So I really think that was the play of the game. You can see over on the Arcanines, Tornadoes picks up 2 kills for him and dies. Sneasel went 1-0. Cobalion went 1-1. Hondros, that improved to 1-1 with the win. Their Victini went 2-0. Slowbro went 2-1. And then Keldeo put in some work without dying. So you can see the battle did go 2-2. It turned into a little bit of a Slowbro versus Milotic stall for a while. Hondros did have some RNG plays that really helped in the win. The RNG was on his side of the battle. I'm not saying it did win it for him, but it made him winning the battle a little bit easier for him. And at the end of the game, Scarf Victini came in and really put in work to pick up the W. So I thought Scarf 15 was the player of the game. And as we can see here, I don't know if it's already played through one time. I don't think it has. You will see that final result of the future sight that, again, I think both coaches forgot about. Brings in that Nidoqueen, gets hit with the future sight, and down it goes. So yeah, that was the Hondros picking up the 2-2 win in our first match of the week. Moving on to our second match. We had the Pidgeys versus the Volcaronas. This one ends up a 6-5 victory for the Volcaronas. So with only 1 kill in the game, not much for play of the game, but I am going to give it to the 1 kill. He moonblast with Clefable in. His opponent of the Pidgey switches in Boltund to it and unfortunately dies to that moonblast. That was the one and only kill of the match. So if you look over in the stats, not much show. Pidgeys, bunch of Pokemon that didn't die. They are 1-1 now. Volcarona's improved to 2-0 with 1 kill on the season. They won 6-6 week 1 and now 6-5 week 2. Clefable did pick up their one and only kill. So yeah, some highlights of the match is a little bit of a recap is it's another team that struggles to break the Volcaronas. Volcaronas have not lost a Mon in the first 2 weeks. So yeah, that's a tough core to break through. Pidgeys got off to a good start. I really liked some of the early plays. I thought Boltund lead worked out nicely for him. He had a nice strong hit on the Lantern to start. But unfortunately, he couldn't take this momentum and generate any KOs with it. So I put a question mark behind this last statement, but I'm pretty sure everyone would agree that this Volcarona team has probably the best defensive core in the league. Again, I don't really think there's much of an argument there, but yeah, that's what can be said about this match. And I do believe the Volcaronas and Hondros have already played their Week 3 match by the time this has come out. I have not looked at it at all. I did not look who even won. I did not look at any of the stats. So I've completely ignored that until I got this video out. So yeah, if you do the Pickums when I get there and you pick the matches, feel free to look and pick whoever won that one. I'm not going to hold that against you. I did not. I picked it before I saw the game, so I don't have any clue if I'm right or wrong. But again, if you send those or put them in Discord or put them in the comments, whatever you do with them, feel free to take the results as you've already seen. Third match is another one, unfortunately, we don't have video for. The Picos lose 0-4 to the Litwix. The Picos fall to 0-2. Arcanine and Spectrier picked up each one of their kills. For the Litwix, Caporaja and Tapu Koko both went 2-0 for them. And Flygon picked up one of their other kills going 1-0. So again, not much to say about a game that I didn't actually get to see, but those are some of the stats from it. Litwix do improve to 2-0. One of only 3 undefeated teams left. 2 weeks in, we only have 3 undefeated teams. Match number 4, another one that I didn't have video of. The miltanks win 2-0 over the rampardos. For the rampardos, their Gengar tried to carry a little bit, went 3-1. Pincurchin picked up their other kill, going 1-1. And unfortunately, Regieleki couldn't get anything done, going 0-1. Miltanks improved to 1-1. Their Silvally went 4-0 on the day. And Jellicent and Miltank both went 1-1, picking up all 6 of their kills between those 3 mons. So yeah, that's that match for you. Moving on to our 5th match. We had the match of the week. It was the Detroit Shock versus the Vika. And it didn't really disappoint. A little bit of a stally one as well. We've had quite a few of those to start the season. Hopefully we see more kills as the season goes on. But a pretty well played game by both coaches in my opinion. For the Shock, Aegislash picked up both their kills going 2-0. The Vika had a kill by Gardevoir and a kill by Rhydon, and they fall to 1-1. The Shock did pick up the win in this 4-4 tie by health. And this play you'll see here, I liked by the coach of the Shock. He had a chance to kill the Skarmory here after the Roost if he had clicked Shadow Ball. But he went for the switch out play with the Flash Cannon. So instead of switching to Shadow Ball the second turn, he stuck to his guns. He still suspected the switch. The coach does switch the second time into the Boufflant. And so, obviously, Shadow Ball wouldn't have done anything to Boufflant. So, the Flash Cannon, I don't remember if it picks up the KO or not, but it does do a ton of damage to that Boufflant either way. So, we'll see it here on the switch, see if he picks up the kill on Boufflant. Other notes of the game are Krokorok. He set the tone early for him with Intimidate. He was able to get Intimidate off quite a few times to kind of gain momentum early in the game. Unfortunately, Krokorok did go down for him. He couldn't do that after that, obviously. So he did not pick up the kill on Boufflant, by the way. But again, it was a good read, good play to stick to his guns and not change his mind after it didn't work the first time. Unfortunately for the Shock, I think 3 different Mons lived on like 5 health or less, just naturally. Like the first one, Dragapult, I thought it had to be Scarfed, but it legit was 1 health. That happened again with Gardevoir, I believe. And as you can see, it also happened with Skarmory on the screen on that first Shadow Ball. So unlucky that 3 different Mons lived on such low health, but he did still pick up the victory. And his victory I attribute completely to Aegislash. His coverage against his opponent's team was nice. He really just had to avoid flare blitzes from the Darmanitan. And as long as he did that, he was in good shape. Aegislash put in a ton of work for him and picked up this W for him to keep him at 2-0. Next up, we had the Indianapolis Moltres versus the Virginia Scizors. The Moltres lose 1-6 to the Scizors, so unfortunately they fall to 0-2. Excavalier was their 1 Mon that lived. For the Scizors, Galvantula and Garchomp both picked up 2 kills, and Slowking picked up 1 of the others. Again, no deaths coming from the Scizors team, so congrats to him, improved to 1-1. Our 7th match of the week was myself versus Coach Blattle in the Hellgun Hydreigons. I do lose 2-5. Hydreigons pick up the 5-2 win. Congrats to Coach Blattle on the win. My 1 kill came from Ryperio. For the Hydreigons, Salamence picked up 2 kills for him, and Bronzong was the wall he needed and also picked up a 3rd kill. I believe those are the only 3 kills, because I think, the 4th one I killed myself with Hatchrim that you'll see on the screen. With Healing Wish, not really a huge play of the game here. I just thought the biggest reason for success for the Hydreigons team was screens from the Bronzong, both Reflect and Light Screen. Mainly Reflect was the big one. I actually don't even remember if he actually had Light Screen, but Reflect was just huge for him. Didn't really have a way to deal with the Bronzong if Reflect was up. So, yep, just a little highlight of him going for Reflect. So, like I said, Bronzong, key wall. With that Rocky Helmet, I didn't want to hit him on the physical side, but I didn't have any other answers to him. And hitting him on the physical side with the Rocky Helmet with Reflect up didn't do anything, and it just hurt me. So this Bronzong was a real problem. Offensively, Salamence was his key to victory. The Hurricane coming out of Salamence really caused my team some issues. So, yeah, that was the 5-2 win for the Hydreigons, who we are now both 1-1. And our last match of the week was the Blazikens versus the Electric. The Blazikens pick up the 6-6 win. I believe it's our second 6-6 match of the season with 0 KOs in it. So again, you look over at the stats. I don't really got anything for you. A bunch of Pokemon went 0-0. But both teams are 1-1 now. The main reason I think this ended 6-6, it could have been more kills one way or the other, to be honest. I think Sen overlooked the Mantine, and not having any answers at all for the Mantine really caused him some issues and allowed that Mantine to just sit there and just chip in damage on things. So eventually he finds a little way out of it, forces the Mantine to switch out. But again, no kills ever came in on either side. I think the reason Sen picks up the win here and the Blazikens win is a mixture of recovery on a couple different Pokemon and regenerator on Tangrowth. I think that's him switching, getting that regenerator health. Helped him win on HP at the end of the match. Play of the game I have up there is just Mantine hitting Tangrowth with an Ice Beam. Like I said, any Mantine play should have been up there. Like I said, I think Mantine was the most important player in this match, even though his team did not pick up the victory. So congrats on the Blazikens to improve to 1-1, Electric fall to 1-1. As I said, I think there's 3 2-0 teams, 3 0-2 teams. Everyone else is 1-1. So over half the league is 1-1. Alright, so moving on to our power rankings. As you saw last week, I had huge improvements and declines. So, like I said, last week, first time I got to see any of those teams play. So I wanted to kind of adjust it to my own rankings of them. This week, you'll see much less change, and I think that will continue as the season goes on. They'll kind of settle into their spots, and you'll see gradual climb or fall. So I believe no one fell or climbed more than 4 spots today, except for our 16th place team. So sorry about that to the Moltres. But I do have the Indianapolis Moltres they fall 7 spots to 16. These bottom 3 are the 3 0-2 teams. More Picos I have staying put at 15. And the Argonines, who are now again the Ammonites of the roundtable, he will start his RoDL season at 14 in the rankings. And then the Rampardos round out this first screen here, falling 2 spots to number 13. I do have them as the lowest 1-1 teams, but again, lots of room to change when there's over half the league at 1-1. Next little grouping here, we have the Hondros, who move up 4 spots. They get out of that 16 spot, move up to 12. Miltanks climb 2 spots to number 11. Blazikens move up 4 spots to number 10. And the only reason I didn't move them all the way up above myself at 9 was because we did play last week and I picked up the win there. So that's kind of why we're 9 and 10 and not reversed. I do fall 2 spots to number 9. Scizors climb 4 spots to get up to number 8. Now we'll look at the top half of the league. Hydreigons climb 1 spot to number 7. The Electric fall 4 spots to number 6. Pidgeys fall 2 spots to number 2. And the Vika stay put at number 4. Again, these are your top half of the league here. And then we will look at the top 3. Top 3 teams, I have the Volcaronas at +3. They were at number 6 before, climbed 3 spots to number 3. Litwix at number 2, they climbed 3 spots. And the Shock, I've had them at number 1 for a while now. They retained their number 1 spot with another win. These are your 3 2-0 teams. Obviously, power rankings don't need to follow the standings. But again, knowing so little about most of these coaches and the way they play, I've had 2 games to evaluate everyone. So it's going to stick to the standings kind of to start with. But again, that'll change as the season goes on. So hopefully the power rankings are getting a little more accurate as I see more games. So those are your power rankings for this week. Hope you all either like where you got placed or are ready to prove me wrong. Moving on, we have the standings of the league. In the Sword Division, again, I realized just now that these had already been updated. I took the screenshots of these and didn't even look at where everyone was placed until at this moment. And I realized the Volcaronas are 3-0, but I think they played the Hondros. Okay, so the Volcaronas, I think, picked up the win then, based on what I'm seeing of their Week 3 game that was already played. Again, I don't know that for sure, but it looks like what I'm seeing. The Hondros were 1-1, and the Volcaronas were 2-0, so it looks like the Volcaronas pick up a win. So they are 3-0 on top of the division, followed by the Pidgeys at 1-1, Hondros at 1-2, and our newcoming coach, who we haven't seen get to play yet, they are in 4th over there at 0-2. Moving on to the Shield Division, you have the Litwix with the best differential in the league at +9, sitting on top of that division, followed by a couple 1-1 teams in the Rampardos and the miltanks. And then you got the more Picos bringing up the rear at 0-2. But again, those other 3 are all within 2 of each other. Like, more Picos were within 2 of the miltanks. Miltanks are only 2 of the Rampardos in differential. But Litwix looking very impressive 2 weeks in, running away with that division a little bit early. Moving on to the Shadow Division. The Shock have the best record at 2-0, but the Vikvolts have the best differential, but they are 1-1. So kind of top 2 right there. Scizors not far behind. They are 1-1 with an even differential. And unfortunately, you kind of see why I had the Moltres dead last in the power rankings. They have the worst differential in the league at a -9. They are 0-2, -9. So, again, only 2 weeks in. Plenty of time for people to recover. But that is the Shadow Division. Moving on to the Ice Division and the closest division of the league. The only division with no undefeated teams and no winless teams is the Ice Division. Hydreigon's 1-1 with a +3. Electric 1-1 with an even. I'm 1-1 with a -1. And the blazikens 1-1 with a -2. So as you can see, extremely close in that division. So no real front runner. Hydreigons have that #1 spot right now, but not by much. So looking forward to seeing how these divisions play out in future weeks. Next up, we have the Players of the Week. In the Sword Division, I gave it to that Victini. Like I said, that Scarf Victini picked up 2 kills late to kind of get that win for his team. For the Shield, I gave it to Silvally. I didn't get to see the game, but I know it went 4-0 in that, and picking up 4 kills in a 6-1 win, or in a 2-0 win. Sorry, they were the 2-0. Picking up 4 kills there is massive, so I got to give it to Silvally. For the Shadow Division, I gave it to Aegislash. Like I said, it really ran that whole battle for that team. For the Shock, I believe. Sorry, I'm still getting used to which coach belongs to which team. I believe that's the Shock that Aegislash is on. If I'm wrong, whoever Aegislash is on really ran that battle. Was the main focus of that whole 20-minute battle. And in the Ice Division, I gave it to Salamence. Picked up 2 kills against myself. There was only 5 kills in the entire division because the other game went 6-6. So not a ton of Pokemon picked up KOs. I know that's not the only thing that should go into Player of the Week, but it's a big thing I look at. And Salamence picked up 2 and was really the biggest offensive threat for the Hydreigons against myself. So I gave Salamence Player of the Week in the Ice Division. So congrats to these 4 Mons on Player of the Week. Moving on to your kill leaders now. I didn't do this after week 1. I thought it was kind of lame to only have 1 week. Now we have at least 2. We're going to start looking at it. This will be in there every week. Tapu Koko leads the league with 5 kills after 2 weeks for that Litwix team that has the best differential in the league. Followed by Gardevoir, Silvally, and Zapdos Galarian form. They are all tied 1 kill behind with 4. I did cut it off right there because no one else had 4. Everyone else was 3 or less. And there was like 6 Pokemon with 3. So instead of making this thing real long, I did your top 4. These are all the Pokemon with 4 or more. So congrats to these 4 on leading the league in kills so far. The Pickums, seeing how people did. Last week specifically, Blattle had the best record. He went 7-1. I don't remember the one game he got wrong. Yeah, I can't remember the one game he got wrong off the top of my head. But Blattle got 7 of the 8 games correct. So congrats to him. Solid picks there. Overall now, winning percentage of people that have done them. Coach Bosif and Sen both have a 62.5% pick rate. So both of them have picked that many games correctly. I mean, don't know what else to say about the percentage. Congrats to those 2 being top there. Again, if you want to get involved, please do. Like I said, we'll keep track all season. You can either send them to me, do a message in Discord. We have the Pickums channel in the league Discord, so feel free to put them there, and I'll keep track of them. Or you can put them in the comments of the video. Any of those 3 places I will check. You can do your picks, and we'll see how you do. But these 3 people, like I said, Blattle for the week, and Bosif and Sen for the year so far. Congrats to them. Moving on to the matchups for week 3. First matchup of the week, we have the Hondros versus the Volcaronas. Again, I did not see this going into it. I will tell you, I believe my pick was correct. I did pick the Volcaronas. But looking at it beforehand, again, I haven't watched the battle yet. These were some of the key mons I thought would go into this battle. the Hondros would just, if they were to pick up a win, they had to find a way to break some of these mons that no one's been able to break yet. Specifically, Clefable, Celesteela, Lantern. Find a way to kill somebody. And I thought Victini might be a key to that. And then if they wanted to try to outstall, I thought Glastrier or even Riolu I thought had a decent little matchup. So, but that Volcaronas core is just so tough to break, so I didn't think the Hondros would be able to do it. I thought if they did, Victini had a huge match, but I did pick the Volcaronas to win that. And again, I believe I'm correct, but I don't know that for sure. But yeah, that was the first match of the week. Second match of the week, we have the Pidgeys versus the new coming coach, Ammonites of the Round Table. Again, new coach. I don't know how he plays. He has a completely new team. He dropped the entire roster when he took over, picked up 9 new Pokemon. I like some of his mons, Dracovish and Rillaboom, 2 really, really strong mons on top of his team. Don't really know how I feel about Slurpuff. I mean, I just think it looks so dumb. It's hard for me to get behind it. But I do know it has some uses, can put in some work if you use it correctly. So, and I think it has a decent matchup taking care of the Goodra for him, maybe. Scizor might be a small problem for his team, but like I said, this one's tough. It's tough to win a new coach. I like his team. I think Dracovish can put in a ton of work like it normally does. But I am going to stick with the coach I've got to see a couple times. I've been impressed with the way he's played. So I'm going to go with the Pidgeys for this win. Again, not much matchup-wise while I'm doing that. Just coach I've seen versus one I haven't. That's really the main reason there. Moving on to the third matchup of the week. We have the Picos versus the Miltanks. Picos looking to pick up their first win of the season. Miltank's one of the 1-1 teams. Silvally had a huge week last week for the Miltanks. I didn't get to see the match. I don't know what type of Silvally they brought. But apparently it was one that would work. So hopefully they're smart enough for that and bring another successful Silvally here. Jellicent, I think, has a great matchup here. Spectre obviously is going to be a problem for it. Has to make sure he deals with that. But, outside of that, I don't think he has a ton to deal with Jellicent. So if he can get rid of that horse early, Jellicent can really just take over the game. And Kartana, I think, has a decent matchup. Not great. Arcanine would really destroy it. But not terrible. I think this is going to be a close one, honestly. I think the Picos could pick up their first win here. But just based on how well the Miltanks used Silvally last week, and like that, I really think Jellicent can play well if that horse isn't around, I am going to go with the Miltanks. But again, I could see this one going either way. Moving on to matchup number 4. We have the Rampardos versus the Litwix. Litwix, one of the 3 undefeated teams left in the league. Tapu Koko, the current kill leader in the league. So just based on some of that information, you think I should go with Litwix. And if I look at the teams, I think Zygarde 10 could put in some good work for the Rampardos. I don't think Gengar has a great matchup. Obviously, can hit Tapu Koko hard, but I think Caparaj is going to be a problem. I think Caparaj is going to be a problem for the whole Rampardos team, to be honest. So I am going to go with the Litwix to remain undefeated. And again, big reason is that Caparaja. And again, he has kind of one good answer to the Mandibuzz with that Regieleki. But if he finds a way to deal with Regieleki early, Mandibuzz can really just be a nuisance and a wall. So I'm going with the Litwix here. If you've noticed from my picks, I'm not taking a ton of upsets. I'm not picking a ton of upsets. Kind of going with the team with a better record, who I have ranked higher in the power rankings. Again, as I get to see more games from these coaches, I'll probably pick a little bit more upsets. But right now, I've only seen 2 games from everybody. I kind of have very little to go off of. So you see me pick a lot of the, I'm using air quotes, favorites, just based on record. But yeah, moving on to the 5th match. We have the Detroit Shock versus the Virginia Scizors. And I hate to do this, but for the 3rd straight week, I have the Shock in the game of the week. He's played very well in the first 2 times I've had him there, I think. And I think the Scizors have a very good team and can challenge him this week. So I have a Shock at number 1, and I think they're in for a tough one this week. So I do have a game of the week for the 3rd straight week. Hopefully this will be the last one I have the Shock, and I can start spreading the game of the week around a little bit. But I do think this is going to be a really good one. I think the Scizors can really push his team. especially if he plays like the way he did in week 2 and not the way in week 1, because I know the Scizors kind of got rolled a little bit in week 1. So hopefully he comes out and makes this a game. I think Aegislash is still going to be an issue. I think he has answers for it, like with Garchomp. He can't let the Zapdos get going on him because, as we saw in week 1 from the shock, that Zapdos can roll if you don't have an answer to it. So that's why I think Lycanroc can be good for the Scizors here as well. I think Lycanroc kind of deals with both the Aegislash and the Zapdos pretty well. Kind of Shock's 2 biggest threats. So I think that Lycanroc's got to come for the Scizors. And like I said, if he can use that well, I think he has a chance to win this. I think, like I said, those 3 you see on the screen for the Scizors, Galvantula, Garchomp, and Lycanroc, can absolutely win this match for the Scizors. And like I said, I like upsets. I really want to pick the Scizors, but I've been impressed with what I've seen from the shock, and I haven't actually got to see the Scizors play as much. So I am going with the shock. But, like I said, I do think the Scizors have the team to pull this off and give the shock the first loss of the season if they play it correctly. Moving on to the 6th match of the week. You have the winless Moltres, currently bottom of our rankings, unfortunately, versus the Vikavolt, who are 1-1. Again, I love the Vikavolt core that you see on the screen. That Dragon Fairy Steel core of Gardevoir, Skarmory, and Dragapult I think is phenomenal. Versus the Moltres, who I don't think have really gotten that terrain team to work with the Tapu Lele and the Hawlucha. So I'm going to be honest, this one's kind of the easiest one of the week for me. I apologize to the Moltres, but I kind of think the Vikavolts are going to run away with this one a little bit. I hope I'm wrong. Hope it's a game. Hope it's a fun one to watch, but I'm picking the Vikavolts, and like I said, I don't think the Moltres have a ton to deal with that core of the Vikavolts. Like I said, he's got, I just don't know how he deals with those core 3 you see on the screen. I just don't know what answers he has to deal with it. And if he comes up with something, I'd love to see it, but I think if the Vikavolts play those 3 right, switch them out when needed, I just think it's too much power for the Moltres to deal with. So I'm going with the Vikavolts to win this one. Moving on to the final match of the week, because as you can see, I filled in my own team name over there again. Not breaking down my own games. I will say that every week, just so you remember. But, yep, I threw my own team over there. I am playing the Electric and Coach Volt. Hopefully I can pick up a win. But moving on to the last game of the week, the Blazikens versus Hydreigons. Matchup in that super close ice division. These are the 2 teams I've personally played already. So probably the best assessment I can give of a match, seeing both of them play personally. And these are actually the 2 coaches in the league that I had seen play in other leagues. So this is probably the one I can break down the most and the best. Last week, the Blazikens had that 6-6 tie. Lots of walls on their team. Like, as you can see, all 3 of them I have on the screen right now. All can be very defensive and bulky. For the Hydreigons, they don't have as many walls, but walls that can be just as effective. They have the Bronzong you see there. One of the other ones I was really worried about going into my match against him was the Galarian Weezing. So a couple different options for the Hydreigons there. And I like the Hydreigon's offensive threat more with the Thundurus and Salamence. So I think he has answers to deal with the walls of the Blazikens. I would be doubtful this one gets finished. I think this will be another timer game, but I think it won't be a 6-6. There will be some kills, and I think the majority of those kills will come from the Hydreigons. Probably like a 5-3 game, 4-2, somewhere in there would be my guess. But I am going to go with the Hydreigons to win this. Again, I think this will be a close one. I think you'll see quite a bit of switching and some predictions being made. But I do think the Hydreigons will pick up just a few more kills and be able to come away with a W here. So those are my predictions for Week 7. Or, sorry, I was looking at Matchup 7. Week 3. Those are my predictions for Week 3. I'd love to hear what you think. Put it down in the comments, Discord, send me a message, any of those options. Give me your picks, see what you think. Good luck to all the coaches in Week 3. And I'll see you all next week for another preview with everything you've seen here. I enjoy doing it. I hope you guys keep tuning in. And again, if there's anything you want me to add, let me know, and I'd love to add it. Like I said, right now we got the recap of the matches, the power rankings, standings, league leaders, players of the week, and then pick'ems, and breaking down the matchups. So again, if you can think of anything else you want to see added that you would like to see, let me know. And hopefully you guys notice on the bottom I always have the scores scrolling by, so if you just want to know some of the scores, they're down there. So yeah, I'll stop rambling now. Hope you all have a good night, and I'll see you next week. See you.